Hey, family, and happy Friday. I hope you all are staying cool. It's about 100 degrees here in Louisville. I take that back. It's 90 something with a real feel of 102. But listen, I hope you're staying cool. I hope you're making money in your business, and I hope that you are doing well. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Timalyn Bowens, and I am America's favorite EA. In addition to that, I am the owner of Bowens Tax Solutions, which is a virtual firm based in Louisville, Kentucky, and we specialize in representing taxpayers across the United States. Listen, in today's video, I want to talk to you about how to make $100,000 as an enrolled agent. Now, in this video, I'll be taking a look specifically with how to do it with having your own enrolled agent firm. I did a video that was similar last year, but I want to switch it up a little bit, okay? Not only do I want to talk about how to make $100,000 in your business, I want to share with you how you can still make $100,000 in your business this year in 2025. Yes, we're at the end of June, but that does not mean that you don't still have the potential to make $100,000 in your business before the year ends. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do so without working with more than 50 people. Yes, you heard me correct. You can do it with working with only 20 people. And like I said, I'm going to talk to you about how to do that today. Now, I've had people scoff and be like, $100,000 in today's economy, that's not any money. Well, check this out. Before you can make $1,000,000, you have to make $100,000, right? And I'll be quite transparent with you. In my firm, Bowens Tax Solutions, I haven't made $1,000,000 yet. And when I say that, I haven't made $1,000,000 in one fiscal period. Okay. So at this point in my business, I've done $100,000 more than once, right? I can rinse and repeat it. So what I'm going to be sharing with you isn't just something that I saw somebody else teach online or I heard about how to do. It's something that I've actually done myself. I actually know how to call out, predict the income, do the work, offer the deliverables to make that money. I can't teach you something I don't know how to do yet myself with the 100 million. Excuse me. Woo, maybe that's coming for somebody here, but with the 1 million. And check this out. When I hit 500,000, I'll come back and I promise I'll teach you how to do that too. But for today, let's focus on the 100,000. Okay. And in this business too, especially if you're doing it virtually, you most definitely can do this with very, very little overhead. All right. Now, there are some things that you have to have, like insurance and different softwares and things. You can check out the video that I did about the tech stack and how to start an EA firm, the prerequisites, on this channel to get more information about that. I'm going to talk about 4 major points today. All right. And like the preachers say, I won't be before you long. And when I say that, I truly mean it. I won't be with you guys that long today. But I want you to write these 4 things down, see how you can apply them to your business and implement them, because at the end of the year, I want to hear back from you all to know how you all implemented it and hit the goal of $100,000, if that's your goal for the remainder of the year. So first things first, we have to be very, very clear on what your mission is. Yes, we become enrolled agents to serve people. Yes, we would like to make money, but you have to zone in a little bit more than that. So the first thing that you have to do and be very clear on in order to make $100,000 within a fiscal period is to be very clear on your mission. And I'll give you some ideas, okay? And yes, I do have notes here today because I'm not going to be before you long. So, with number one, establishing your mission, you're going to ask yourself, number one, why am I doing this? Who am I serving? And how will I serve them? All right. And I'm going to repeat this. If you are an article subscriber over at americasfavoriteea.com, I talk about this in the article with creating your legacy and creating that roadmap. All right. So, with your mission, the first thing you want to ask is, why am I doing this? Like I said, it's cool. You want to serve people. It's cool. You want to make money, but dig deeper than that. When I think about my story and how I first realized that people have a tremendous fear of speaking with the IRS on their own, I realized that I wanted to do this to step in to fill in the gap for them. One, to educate them so they better understand their tax situation. And number two, to be the voice for them to make sure that they are paying the IRS something that will satisfy the IRS and not bankrupt them. All right. I don't want taxpayers' rights to be trampled. I want them to understand the process as well as get out of trouble with the IRS. So that's my why and my driving force. When I'm gone, we all think like, oh yeah, people remember me for this, for that. While I'm here and when I leave, I want to be known for filling the tax literacy gap, okay? I want to be known for advocating for taxpayers. So when you ask me, why are you an enrolled agent? Why do you do this? I'm here to advocate for the taxpayer who may not know any better. I'm here to advocate for the taxpayer who doesn't understand how to work with the IRS and wants to ensure that their rights as a taxpayer are not trampled. I am here to fill the tax literacy gap one taxpayer at a time. So now that you've heard mine, how does that apply to you? What are you doing as an enrolled agent? Why are you here doing it? And if you're a brand spanking new EA, even better because you're a clean slate. Think about the impact that you want to have in the industry, the impact that you want to have in your community with being an enrolled agent. Okay. Now, number two, who am I serving? There are taxpayers all over the world that need us as enrolled agents to provide representation. But if you don't have a clear picture of who you're serving and how you're going to serve them, you're essentially just flailing like the used car sales things, that go in the air like that. That's you right now if you don't have a clear idea of who you want to help and how you want to help them. So, with who you're serving, think about if you have worked in the tax preparation industry, who do you most enjoy working with? Who do you work with that makes you feel alive and get ignited and you're like, yes, I'm making a difference? That's likely the person who you need to serve. Now, sometimes when we go into business, we take our business as ministry. And when I say that, I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with ministry, but if you have a church background, I'm a pastor's child, you'll understand the reference. We want to help people so much that we take the business aspect out of it and we help. With that, you have to find balance, right? I still help people in certain situations where they can't afford to pay me. I still help people in certain situations where they may just need a bit of education. But I've set a boundary now. So the way that I help people the most when they can't afford to work with me is by having a podcast like the Tax Relief with Timalyn Bowens podcast. It's by having this YouTube channel. So even if maybe you're interested in mentorship, but you can't afford to work with me yet, you can watch videos and trainings like this so you can still get grounded in what you need to do and move forward, right? What I learned is that if we're looking at your business as a ministry, there still have to be funds to fund the ministry. So, with that being said, when you're looking at who you most like helping, maybe it's an area of the industry or people who can't afford to pay you for your work. That is okay, because check this out. There are still people out there who meet the same criteria, maybe not financially, but they meet the same criteria that are able to pay you for your work and will value your expertise. So, what you need to decide when you are establishing your mission is, how many people will I work with who can't afford to pay me, and how will I go about helping them? Then, on the other end, with establishing your mission, calling out who still meets that criteria that's going to value me and that will be able to pay me for my services. Okay, so let me give you an example. Within tax relief with Timalyn Bowens, I don't know why I brought up the podcast, but other than tax professionals, the main people that podcast serves is first generation entrepreneurs. Now, who do I work with the most in Bowens Tax Solutions? First generation entrepreneurs. So I'm able to help the people that are just starting out, who haven't made the mistakes yet, by having this YouTube channel and by also having the podcast. Then there are people that are in a little bit deeper doo-doo, who have better cash flow and they can afford to pay me. They value the services that I offer, and we work together. So you see how that happens? I know that God has called me to do this work, and I know that everybody is not going to be able to compensate me monetarily. However, because I knew I had that desire to do this and be in alignment with what God wanted me to do, He's created a path where I can yet help people and be of benefit to them and provide value with those resources. And then He brings in the people who can afford to pay me and who value my services. So for you, you may need to have a conversation with Him, but also take into consideration who makes you feel alive, right? Who lights your fire when you work with them, when you see the aha moments and you see that click. Okay. So, in establishing your mission, why am I doing this? You need to be clear on why you're doing it, because that's going to be what motivates you and keeps you going when you don't have the return on investment with marketing you think you should have. When it feels like the clients aren't coming in as fast as you think they should come in, that's what's going to be your driving force. So that's number one. Number two, who am I serving? Like I said, remember, there have to be funds to fund the ministry. So everything's not going to be pro bono. All right. Number three, how will you serve them? As an enrolled agent, we are America's tax experts, okay? We have the highest license that is awarded by the IRS to tax professionals. This gives us the same playing field as CPAs and tax attorneys when it comes to what we can do as far as representation. I have clients right now in Italy. I have clients in Baghdad. I have clients in California. I have clients in Florida. This is all because of the EA credential. I'm able to serve them. I'm able to step in on their behalf and talk to the IRS. For me, I want to work with those first generation entrepreneurs. So, where do they typically have the most problems? They're usually phenomenal at what they do, but they don't understand the tax law. So, that's why they've ended up in trouble. So, for me, I wanted to be the person who could step in and handle that situation so they could focus on and grow their business, right? Because if you've never had a tax problem before, you've never gotten a notice from the IRS, you weren't anticipating it, I can tell you, if I see something coming in on that US mail notifying from the IRS and I'm not expecting it, I can't sleep. So I can only imagine owing over $100,000 the way that some of my clients do and just going crazy, right? Just for the record, the IRS wanted me to do a survey. But baby, when I saw that notice, I could not sleep. I wanted to be that advocate. So for me, I knew my service offering needed to focus on tax representation. They know how to go make the money. They don't have the time to deal with the IRS. They are experts in their area of expertise, their lane, their industry. They need me for the tax part. What better way can I serve them than representation? Now, with you being an enrolled agent, can you do tax preparation? Yes, you can. Can you do tax planning? Absolutely. Can you monitor tax accounts? Absolutely. Parts of tax representation are going to be representation and audits, responding to notices, removing or stopping levies, removing tax liens. All of these things fall into the category. What you need to figure out is with why you're doing this, who you're serving, which one of those service offerings are going to be best for you to offer to the client. All right. So that all falls under number one with establishing our mission. I'll say it one more time. Why am I doing this? Who am I serving? And how will I serve them? Now, you have to have number one done before you can go on to number two. Number two is to create messaging to reach your ideal client. All right. I see a lot of you all get frustrated because, hey, people don't know what an EA is. CPAs get all the attention, yada, 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 yada. Okay, cool. That gives you the perfect opportunity and platform to educate your clients, prospects, referral partners, the world about what an enrolled agent is. They say, oh, Timalyn, it's easy for you to do that because you're already out here doing it. Guess what? When I start doing these videos, when I start doing the blog posts, everything, this information wasn't out here. When I started my firm almost 10 years ago, all of this information wasn't out here. I had to go blind, stumble around, take what I knew from working in a CPA firm, talk to God, and make it work. That's why I'm here for you today, so you don't have to stumble in the same places and you have a more clear and direct path. So, with that being said, there are clients, prospects of yours waiting for you to get your messaging together, waiting for you to inform them on what an enrolled agent is, waiting for you to get your act together so that they have somebody to advocate for them before the IRS. But you may be playing safe. Somebody right now has a tax situation that's dependent on you coming in to fix it. So you have to create messaging that reaches them. They have to know that you are out there. They have to know that you are available. So, under this step, I got 3 questions for you. For your ideal client, in order to create messaging that speaks to them, you need to be able to get inside of their head. The first thing that you need to understand is what are their fears. A lot of times I see people advertising and they're selling tax relief, they're selling back taxes, they're selling remove the penalties. That's fine and dandy, but there is a problem there at the core, and the tax debt is just the fruit of that problem. Check this out. I've had clients tell me that I saved their marriage by helping them resolve the tax problem. The fear there is not the IRS. The fear is losing their spouse. I'm helping with the IRS so they don't have to realize their ultimate fear. All right. I have business owners who are scared they're going to lose their business. The IRS is a problem, and yes, they want to deal with that, but the biggest fear is not the IRS, it's losing their business. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can preach all you want about the IRS is big, the IRS is bad, which they're not. They're comprised of human beings who are simply just doing their job, right? Let's put that out there. They're scared of that, but there's something deeper. Okay. So in your messaging, you need to address what their biggest fears are so they realize that you have empathy and that you can relate to that fear. Now, number 2, what do they need? Oftentimes with marketing, we're going to draw them in with what they want and serve them what they need. Okay. Let me give you an example. You clicked on this video because you want to know how to make $100,000 in your business. Cool. The numbers part is easy. The math easily maths. But what you need to understand is that you need to have your mindset right. You need to have clarity in what you're doing, who you're doing it for, how you're doing it. Sound familiar? What we just went over under establish your mission. You need to know who you're talking to, how to talk to them, create messaging to reach your ideal client. And then that's when you can market, and then that's when you can start doing the work. But the foundation of that is establishing your mission. So you clicked on this to know how to make 100K, and I'm feeding you what you need, how to establish the foundation, what you have to build on before you can start bringing in the money. You have to think the same way with your ideal client. What do they need? What are they looking for? How to get rid of that fear. What do they need? They need to know what they need to do before they can take that fear off the table. Okay? What do they care about? Like I said earlier, my example, I've had people tell me I saved their marriages. I've had people tell me I saved their homes. I've had people tell me now they can pay for their child's wedding. What do they care about? For me, first generation entrepreneurs, they usually care about failure. They usually care about their family because they are the breadwinner for their family. So when I have my messaging, I need to talk about how their family will be affected if they don't handle this tax situation, right? Because that's going to get the attention of somebody who cares about their family. If I have a real estate investor, I need to talk about the effect of them losing their properties to the IRS. What happens when the IRS takes your property and sells it? I need to talk about that because that is going to get the attention of somebody who owns property that is likely to be seized by the IRS. So you have to answer these questions to better understand your client. And yes, it's going to take time. Yes, it's going to take practice before you get it perfect. But that's what you need to understand. So, one, we're establishing our mission. I've already gone over the steps for that. Number two, you need to create messaging that is going to reach your ideal client. So, let's go to number three. Number three, you need to create a marketing plan and then you need to implement it. Yes, you have to do the work. And with implementing it, you have to stay consistent. Yes, I'm talking to you because a lot of people will do the math to make $100,000. And like I said, the math is easy to do. The math will be mathing, but then they don't create a plan to reach their ideal client. They don't have a plan that clearly spells out who their ideal client is. Therefore, they can't have messaging to talk to the client because they don't know who that client is. And they have no idea why they're really doing this. They just went and got the P10 and became an enrolled agent because they heard they could charge more. And now they're just out there like the little thing at the used car sales lot, right? Don't let that be you. Create the marketing plan and implement it. Now, on my website, and I'll put the link down here too, I have a class that was post tax season marketing. All right. Within the article subscription, I have different prompts to help you if you want to do content marketing. And yes, they are prompts, not cookie cutter stuff, because here's the thing, you want to be able to differentiate yourself from everybody else. You want people to realize who you are as a tax professional and why you're not like everybody else. So these prompts will give you questions to answer to help you to share your story, to help you build know, like, and trust with other people. So if you're interested in the article subscription, purchase the article subscription for a month, download what you need, and leave. But I hope you stay. But if you are more of a visual learner, you can purchase the post tax season marketing class, which is available at americasfavoriteda.com. But with the marketing plan, first we need to reverse engineer making that $100,000, right? And right in the beginning of the video, I told you you can do that still this year in the second half of the year. Shoot, you can do it in Q3 if you want to push that hard. But here's a simple plan that you can use. Now, They say the average tax representation case is roughly $5,000, right? If you're a brand spanking new EA, you're probably not going to get those types of cases. And even if you do, let's be for real, you shouldn't be doing them alone. You should have a mentor, you should be in some type of community, because I use this illustration all the time. When you first got your driver's license, you did not know how to drive. Friend, if you just got your EA license and you haven't put the reps in doing tax representation, you don't know how to drive. You don't know how to handle a case. So you need somebody by your side who has your back to walk you through that process. Now, let's take the $100,000 though, and let's say that your average case is going to be $5,000. You would need 20 people from July 1st to December 31st to reach $100,000. That's roughly 3 people a month. If you have survived a tax season, I know you worked with more than 3 people a month. Some of you all have worked with more than 3 people a week. Some of y'all, I don't know how you do it, but you've been working with more than 3 people a day consistently 6 days a week all tax season. So 3 people a month is it's doable. I won't say it's super easy, because the problem people have with marketing is being consistent in the marketing. Okay. Now, we reverse engineer this. We only need 5 people. The 5 people have to meet a certain set of criteria, right? That's why it's important for you, before you start marketing, to make sure that you've established your mission, you understand why you're doing this. That's also going to help you be clear on who you have a desire to help and how you're going to help them. So you need to have a service offering that is worth the $5,000, right? Then once you have that and you've created the message, you're calling these people out. But in order to get 3 people a month, I would say ideally you need to reach between 30 to 50 people a month. That means whatever your method of marketing is, blah blah, sorry. You want to reach the 30 to 50 people, and then your goal is going to be to have 10 sales calls a month. Now, with 4 weeks in the month, that's almost 3 calls a week. You can do this, right? When you ensure that they meet the right criteria, the amount of leads that you convert is just a math thing, right? If you have the right people on your list. Now, in your messaging and you're building your know, like, trust, you are going to attract certain people. You're going to also repel certain people. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? And that's fine. But I try to make that clear in my marketing so those type of people would never even book a call. All right? So, with that, you have to be strategic and not only use one method of marketing. What do I mean? Social media may be great, but that's not enough. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Just putting stuff out there without making sure the right people see it is not going to be enough. You need to make sure that you have more than one method of marketing at a time. Now, like I said, social media, that is content marketing. That by itself, for some people, depending on what you have, could work. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket, because Facebook could be here today, gone tomorrow, right? So could YouTube. Shoot, you all know me from this. What if they take YouTube away? If that were to happen, I think right now you should go over to americasfavoriteea.com and subscribe to my email list if you're interested in being an EA or building an EA firm, because I still want to be in communication with you all. But social media is just the funnel to help me get you there. So no matter what your marketing method is, make sure that you have a funnel to get people to where you can stay in constant contact with them. So you could use content marketing with social media, but being on all platforms of social media is not using different methods of marketing. Okay, that's still content marketing. Having a podcast like I have is still content marketing. You still need something else. That is where we have things like referral marketing. Get outside, meet people who are in contact with your ideal client. Go join communities where your ideal client is. Because if a person meets you in person versus online, that helps establish a different type of trust. Then they can go follow you online. That's great. But make sure that you're actually outside connecting with people. Okay. That would be our referral marketing. Then we have authority marketing. Guess what? Everybody that's out here on social media teaching stuff should not be listened to. And I know I'm on YouTube saying that, but it's true. But consider this, I have a podcast. I have you right here on this channel listening. I have people on LinkedIn following me who are relying on my opinion to make certain decisions. That is because I have tapped into authority marketing. You see me as an authority within the enrolled agent space, which is why you trust me and you believe me when I say certain things. If I recommend a study material, you go buy it. If I recommend the software, you go get it. That's authority marketing. You can establish that authority for yourself by teaching. Now, that teaching could be online. You could teach classes for your alumni association, whether that's high school or college, for your local SBA. You could go team up with financial advisors, go to real estate brokers, whoever is going to be in contact with your ideal client. You can make your presence known, teach what you do know so that you are established as an authority within the tax arena. Now, shameless plug, if you have not already, go over to Spotify and make sure that you subscribe to My Enrolled Agent Career. On there, the first 4 episodes, I talk about my journey as an enrolled agent, but then I've also brought on guests to share their experiences as well. One of my guests, Mark Dombrowski, he shared, and he's a national speaker, okay, within this space. He shared about how he started getting speaking opportunities. And I promise you, I did not pay him to say it. He said some of the exact same things that I share with you all about getting the speaking opportunities and learning your materials so that you can speak. Okay, so it is most definitely possible. For more insight, again, go over to Spotify, check out My Enrolled Agent Journey. You'll see a nice picture of me like a tax professional in my arms crossed. I still have the locks in there. And at the time of this, I believe we have 7 episodes out. But most definitely, if nothing else, start with the episode with Mark. See the other people that you like. Check those episodes out too. Okay. New episode out every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Right now, exclusively on Spotify. It is a video podcast, but I think you have to have a Spotify account to actually see the video. You don't have to have a Spotify account to just listen to it, though. All right. So I'll put that link down below. Let's say that you're like, hey, I don't know how to serve people to where I can charge $5,000 just for the case. That's cool because look, there are different ways to skin a cat where we can still get $100,000 in these next 6 months. You can work with 25 people. Let's say you're doing small business returns. This is going to hurt some of you all's feelings. Make sure that your prices are correct for your tax preparation. I say this from the heart, and like preachers say, this hit me first. I promise you, my prices were not always as high as they are. And I also promise you that my prices are not the highest out in the market, okay? But let's say for your small business client, you're charging $1,500 for that return, okay? Because typically people that have tax problems also have back tax returns they need to file. So if you're charging $1,500 for that, and then you're going to also charge, let's say, another $1,500 for the transcript investigation, for you to come on as the power of attorney, for you to dig out and see, like, hey, What's going on in here in this situation? What penalties could we get abated? What's your history of compliance with the IRS? Let's say you charge another 15 for that, and this person owes $30,000 at the end of the day. You set them up in a streamlined agreement, so you're charging another 1,000 for that. That's a $4,000 case, and you got to set up a streamlined installment agreement. Folks, that's not the most difficult thing in the world. But the value that you just provided was $4,000 worth because you just did a tax return. You did the transcript investigation to dig in and find out what was really happening. And then you ensured that they have an agreement set up with the IRS so they can still be in control of their cash flow and the IRS doesn't come in and just take it themselves. Sounds pretty valuable to me because now that small business owner can focus on and grow their business. And now you just made $4,000. With that, that would take 25 clients for the remainder of the year. You need, I think it comes out to like 4.3, 4.5, but 4 to 5 people a month. Is my math right? Yes, because there's 6 months. You need about 4 to 5 people a month. You can do that. You can so do that. Because the bulk of it is going to be the tax returns, but then you're putting those reps in, calling ACS. Somebody might be assigned to a revenue officer. You're getting those reps in. Now you know what you're doing. You feel comfortable and you can do it. 25 people to hit your goal of $100,000 gross. I believe in you and you can do it. And check this out. If you don't have any experience with pulling transcripts, if you don't have any experience with reading transcripts, creating a transcript report, you don't have to have a tax representation software, tax resolution software to pull transcripts. You don't have to have one to create a report. I actually show the people in my mentorship community and the people who purchase how to start an EA firm, how to do it. Look, because there were a lot of people messing up, what I did is the in-person class that I teach, back tax negotiation workshop, I've pulled out modules from how to start an EA firm, and I actually walk you through looking at transcripts to see what a person qualifies for, how to create that transcript report. I actually show you within the back tax negotiation workshop the workflow process and 3 phases of tax representation that I use in my own practice. But then I show you how to set up a streamlined installment agreement. I show you how to set up a direct debit installment agreement and what it would look like if it was a tiered installment agreement. I show you how to set up a partial pay installment agreement and what it would look like currently not collectible. That is pulled out of how to start an EA firm. You can purchase it on the website, Back Tax Negotiation Workshop, in a bundle for $150. Okay. I'll put that link below too. So if you need a starting ground and you can't join the mentorship yet, you still have that to get you started. All right. So that's 25 people. You may be listening. You're like, hey, Timalyn, that's great. I can't, I don't have enough knowledge to charge people $5,000 to negotiate. I don't have enough knowledge to do a small business tax return, charge $1,500, and then do a streamlined agreement. I know how to do a streamlined agreement. I have the resource because you just told me about the back tax negotiation workshop, but I don't know how to do the businesses yet. What about me? Guess what? Even if you serve individuals, you too can make $100,000 without working with 50 people. You can make it without working with 30 people. Check this out. Similar situation, right? Let's say that you're charging $350 for individual return. That's your average. Okay. Now, if you charge less than that on average, you may be the problem. But we'll talk about that in a different video. At that $350, let's say that they have, let me make sure my math is right. I don't think it is. Hang on. Let me get a calculator really quick. Because I wrote out an example, and I don't remember what my math was that I was using here. So let's worth of tax returns. Okay. So right now that would be 24, 23, and 22. Remember, they have to have at least the last 6 years of tax returns filed in order for them to be compliant so they can negotiate anything. So that's non-negotiable. They have to file these 3 tax returns. You charge $350 a year. That's $1,050, right? Next, you do the transcript investigation to get in there because, hey, if they file those other returns late, you're looking at failure to file penalties. We don't know what else is in there, and you want to know before you get in. So you're going to do the transcript investigation. Cool. We see there are different penalties and stuff you can work with. That transcript investigation, again, let's say you charge $1,500 for it. Then you're going to do a streamlined agreement for them too because it's under $50,000. They can pay within 72 months. They trust your expertise. They're going to pay you that $1,000 to do it. You've made $3,550. If you have, excuse me, about 5 people a month, this is for 6 months, the average that you're charging them for the W-2 individual return is $350. You would need 28 people like that to make $100,000 in the next 6 months. 28 people in 6 months. 28 people. Again, some of you all are doing 28 people a week during tax season. You can get the 3 years of tax returns done in 1 week, and then the transcript investigation the next, and then the streamlined agreement probably within 2 to 3 weeks because we have to wait for the tax returns to process. But did you hear me? That's $3,550 worth of work that you know how to do with the individual return. And if you don't know how to pull the transcripts, you don't know how to do the transcript investigation, I just provided you with a resource that's $150 to teach you how to do it. Is investing $150 to make $3,550 worth it? I think it is. You can do this. And by doing that, you have less than 30 people you have to work with in the next 6 months. The IRS is awake and they're short staffed. People are scared. There are people who still need to file those last 3 years who are not going to lift their hand up and say, hey, I'm in tax trouble. That's why you need to know who in that arena you're going to serve so you can create very clear messaging. So when you're in person marketing, they know that's the person to go to if you need to file back taxes. So that if you're online marketing, you stand out. That's the person I need to go to when it comes to back taxes. If you're a guest on a podcast, a blog, people read it and say, that's the person that I need to work with. Okay. So I've given you the examples. If you're a big boss and you can do the representation cases that average $5,000 without any prep, kudos to you. Thanks for checking out the video. If you're the person that focuses on small businesses, I just showed you with 25 people filing one back tax year streamline agreement. You need 25 people. And if you don't work with businesses, I just showed you with 5 people a month, on average, 28 people for 6 months, you can make $100,000 doing work that you know how to do and what you're going to learn how to do. Because the streamline agreements, again, are not difficult, but what you're doing is you're putting the reps in. You're getting used to working with the IRS. You're getting used to understanding the language that the revenue agents use. You're getting used to faxing over that 2848. You are going to gain the confidence you need by starting out with the tax representation basics. And setting up a streamlined agreement is one of the most basic things that we do within the arena. All right. So, one, you're establishing your mission. Number two, you're creating messaging to reach your ideal client. Number three, I said three, I promise I can count. Number three, create a marketing plan and then you need to implement it. So now that I've told you how many people you need to convert each month, how many people you need to convert in a 6-month period of time, you come up with a plan with what do I need to do to actually reach these people? What do I need to do to solidify my messaging so that they know that I can help them? All right. Number four, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, mentorship, especially if you're just starting out on this path. And I do have an EA mentorship program. Right now, it's $250 a month. What you will get is access to how to start an EA firm, the course. You'll get access to the back tax negotiation workshop. You'll get access to the tax representation workflow. You'll get access to the post tax season marketing class. You will also initially get a one on one call with me so we can sit there and establish what your plan is going to be for your EA firm. You'll also have access to a community with other paid members that have access to me to ask questions for case support, to ask questions about tax returns, or anything else within the realm of starting, running, owning an EA firm. All right. In addition to that, we have a monthly Q&A call that ranges from 90 minutes to 2 hours for the group because iron sharpens iron. You may have a question that somebody else needs the answer to, and vice versa, a question that you'd never even thought of. But because you're there, you're in the environment and ready to learn, now you take away that knowledge as well. Okay. In addition to that, we have a monthly technical call. Now, if you've been following me, maybe you see the technical calls being sold. So this month, I did taking your firm virtual. Sometimes I do the installment agreement. I've done the post tax season marketing. It just depends, okay? But you do also have access to that as well. All right. So I do like to share, listen, even if it's not me, go get the help you need. There are other mentors that are in this space as well. Because again, just like with the tax representation people, I'm not everybody's cup of tea for the mentorship either, okay? And I understand that and I won't take it personally. Just make sure that you get the help that you need. Again, I hope you come back to the comments. I hope you email me, however you want to communicate, to let me know by December 31st. Hey, Timalyn, I reached that 100K. I took the steps that you said in the video at the end of June. I made sure I understood my mission. I knew why I was doing it, who I was doing it for, and how I was going to serve them. I created messaging to reach my ideal client. I created a marketing plan and I implemented it and I stayed consistent. And then I went and got a mentor and I did the thing. All right. Because whether you come with me or not, I'm rooting for you. But I do hope you come with me. So if you're interested in starting your own EA firm, make sure that you go to www.americasfavoriteea.com and you hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you all in another video super soon. I plan on getting back in the swing of doing things live, but make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and you hit that notify button so you do know the next time that I go live. All right? Bye-bye.